meet one-on-one with people. Why are you doing that?
Didn't really suspend the campaign. That was ABC News's interpretation. You must take that with several grains of salt.
Okay, all right. But you have postponed a lot of. You're not involved in necessarily like everybody else.
Some days we do campaign events, and some days we do book events.
Okay.
Because I committed to doing book events long before I decided that I was going to do this, and I always keep my commitments. But we keep all the staff and all the funding completely separate.
Okay.
Because I know the FEC is all over looking for some kind of violation.
So we were talking about Islam here in America, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what's it going to take for people to wake up, and what does that mean for us to wake up? What do you do with ISIS and the Caliphate now, which, by the way, we were told a few years ago was crazy.
Right.
But what do you do with it now?
Well, I'll tell you what I would do with it.
Okay.
I feel that one of the reasons that they're being so successful with their recruitment efforts is because they have, in fact, established a caliphate. Half of Iraq, a third of Syria, beachheads in Somalia, Nigeria, Tunisia, and they are looking extraordinarily successful. And they're able to offer people who frequently live in pretty desperate situations some semblance of prestige in their life and money that they can send to their family. What I would do is make them not look like winners. And how would you do that? Well, the easiest place, I think, to go is Iraq. The government in Iraq is pretty much in shambles at this stage of the game. But I think it would be relatively easy to take the territories back from them. That would be a huge blow to their prestige.
Could you arm anybody?
Well, I think we would have to put our own people on the ground because, our administration has called for, a coalition. But guess what? Coalitions don't form automatically. They form behind something. So also we have a lot of special forces. We have capabilities that are very substantial, but we're not using them. That's one of the big frustrations for many of the generals that I've talked to who've retired. We have the capabilities of doing things, but our people won't let them do it.
Where do you stand with the Kurds?
Well, there's several factions of the Kurds, as you know. The one that we hear about the most are the Peshmerga. The PKK is the faction of Kurds that Turkey is at war with. And, I definitely think we should be directly helping them. I think they're an enormous fighting force with a tremendous history, and they have a lot of variations, including Christians, among them.
We are, the hearings happening this week on the Hill with Hillary Clinton in Benghazi. I said 3 days after that happened, it had nothing to do with film. We were arming the people in Syria. I, of course, was called crazy for that. We had some pretty good sources on that. As it turns out, that's exactly what was happening. Now all those people that the GOP even was fine arming, turns out they're the bad guys, and we armed them. How do you know who to arm and who not to?
Well, it's very difficult. I think we've done a pretty poor job of maintaining our covert sources. And it was a PC move. It was political correctness. And, the CIA and all these people were evil and, we're the cause of all the problems. And we really kind of let that fall by the wayside. That was a huge mistake. And we have to have the kind of intelligence that is necessary in order to make the right decisions. We also need to understand that, there's a lot of complex interrelationships throughout that region of the world. And when you go in and you pull out one of the legs of the bar stool, bad things are going to happen. And you have to be prepared to deal with those. So that was the reason that I wasn't all that anxious, quite frankly, in the beginning to go into Iraq. And, once we got in there, it was terrible to precipitously withdraw. That was a problem. But if you hadn't gone there in the first place, it wouldn't have been a problem. And, Saddam Hussein was actually as evil as he was a stabilizing force there. By the same token, in Afghanistan is a buffer zone. It's an important place, and you know, I would not have put hundreds of thousands of troops through there. I would have a small force that would give us the ability to do what we needed to do.
When we come back, his first day in office and his faith.